Someone carved this 3,700 years ago, and they did it because they were terrified.
This is the Code of Hammurabi, a column of black basalt, 2¼ meters tall, discovered buried in the Persian desert in 1901, 3,000 years after it was placed there. On it, 282 laws, every one carved in cuneiform, the oldest writing system on Earth, by order of a king who had just finished conquering 11 separate kingdoms and needed the world to understand something very clearly. 11 kingdoms in a single reign. The laws cover everything: trade disputes, wages, what happens if a builder constructs a house that collapses and kills the owner, what happens if a wife accuses her husband falsely, what happens if a surgeon's patient dies under the blade. At the top of the stele, carved in relief above all the laws, Hammurabi himself, standing before Shamash, the god of justice, receiving the laws directly from the divine. He did not write these laws. According to the stone, the gods gave them to him. Babylon in 1754 BC was a city held together by threat. Hammurabi had inherited a small kingdom. Over 30 years, he expanded it by war, by diplomacy, by alliance, and then by betraying those alliances at precisely the right moment. He was not simply powerful, he was patient, and he was precise. But conquering 11 kingdoms creates a specific problem. 11 kingdoms means 11 different legal traditions, 11 different ideas of what is fair, what is punishment, what is debt, merchants who cannot agree on the rules of trade, judges who cannot agree on the rules of justice, a vast empire held together by fear of the army, but not yet by anything deeper. So, Hammurabi did something that had never been done before at this scale. He wrote it all down, and then he carved it in stone, and then he placed copies of that stone in every major city in his empire, in public squares, where any person could stand and read what would happen to them before it happened. Think about what that means. Before Hammurabi, law was something that happened to you. A judge decided, a king decided, and you had no way of knowing in advance what the decision would be. After Hammurabi, for the first time in recorded history, you could stand in a public square and read what would happen to you before it happened. But look more carefully at what he carved. The punishments are not equal. A nobleman who blinds another nobleman loses his eye. A nobleman who blinds a commoner pays a fine. The law is written down, but it is written down to protect those who already have power. The image of Hammurabi receiving the laws from God is not decoration. It is the argument. The laws are not just, they are legitimate, and they are legitimate because a God gave them, and a God gave them to him, not to a council, not to a court, to the king personally, who then graciously allowed them to be carved in stone for everyone to read. The stone is not a gift to the people. The stone is a demonstration of who gets to decide what justice means.
We still do this. Every country has a constitution, a founding document carved, metaphorically, in the hardest material available, set in language so permanent that changing a single word requires years of political process, displayed in buildings with columns and marble floors. Every company has a mission statement on its lobby wall. Every religion has scripture. Every court has Latin phrases no one outside the system fully understands. The question Hammurabi forces you to ask is not, does the law protect people? The question is, who decided what got written? When something is carved in stone, literally or figuratively, it stops being a proposal. It becomes truth. It becomes the way things are.
and the people who put it there understood exactly what they were doing. Stone does not argue back. Stone does not change its mind. Stone does not admit that the person who carved it was afraid of losing power the morning they picked up the chisel.
They did not carve it in stone because they were certain. They carved it in stone because they were afraid that without the stone, no one would believe them.